Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberley Tucker, and I'm the owner of I Do Weddings Plus Events out of Cocoa Beach, Florida. I am a certified wedding planner and ambassador through the Bridal Society, the leading wedding planning certification program in the world and the largest membership of certified wedding planners and venues. We at the Bridal Society know how important hiring an educated wedding planner and coordinator is. The Bridal Society is a wedding planner lifestyle membership and certification program focused on raising the standards in our industry and ensuring that all couples have an opportunity on their wedding day to be magical and dreamful. Today, I'm talking with Mariah McKechnie.
Yep.
Is that right? And the owner of Northland Special Events. Welcome, Mariah.
Hi, thanks for having me, Kimberly. It's so good to see you and to get to chat with you today.
It's fantastic to spend some time with you today. Okay, so let's start off. Tell me a little bit about your company.
Sure. So I own a wedding and event planning business in Duluth, Minnesota. We're at the tip of Lake Superior in a beautiful destination location. I've owned the business for 11 years this August, and we do upwards of probably 75 plus weddings for coordination and wedding management and planning a year. I also own a floral company and rental company. So all told, we have our hands in over 250 weddings a year in some capacity. So I live and breathe wedding.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
What inspired you in the wedding industry?
Say that again. Say that one more time.
What inspired you to enter the wedding industry?
Sure. So a couple of moments I can specifically recall in just out of college, I worked for a catering company and did some bartending. And I'll never forget being in the mountains of Vermont in a barn, bartending for just this absolutely magical wedding and thinking to myself, like, I just need to be here, like doing something regarding this. Just have this like really beautiful memory in my mind. And then when I planned my own wedding, I really loved the process. I enjoyed every minute of it. I recognized the need to hire somebody and loved everything she did to help me coordinate on the wedding day. And afterwards, I just mentioned to her that I would be, excited to keep going with planning and if she ever needed any help. And within 2 months, I was working with my first clients on my own to coordinate their wedding under her brand. So that's really started. And then after relocating to Minnesota, where my family was, my sister decided to get married up the shore of Lake Superior, which is what brought me to where I really recognized that there was a need for people like me that could do coordination and planning and really up-level the wedding industry here. And so I've been doing that for, like I said, 11 years.
Wow, that is fantastic. That's a great backstory, actually, to go from bartending to in the thick of it.
The thick of it, yeah. And I had my full-time job was as a management consultant. And so when I built my business, I really structured it around a consulting platform, which has been really served me in the way that I've built the business itself.
What do you think is one thing that you wished you would have known when you began your career?
Oh my gosh. When I think about it, I realize how much money I've left on the table over the years and how when you do something that you just love and you're not necessarily driven by dollars, it can be very easy to give away a lot. And I think back because you don't get the time back to ask for what you're worth. And so I've been personally on a mission to up-level my pricing and my relationship with the business of money. So that's something that I think I even look at new startups in my area and I want to tell them, like, you need to be charging more. Like, you charging more is better for all of us. So I think that is something that I wish that I had recognized earlier.
I think that's the same for a lot of wedding vendors out there, anybody in the professional business, every single one of us. So I can relate to that very much. So what do you think is one common myth about your profession that you would like to debunk?
Oh, so something I tell everybody when they interview with me to work as either a planner or an assistant is that They need to recognize it is not the glamorous job that they might think when they say wedding planner. It's actually quite a dirty job, and it is high stress. So I just really like for people to recognize, like, in order to truly be good at this, you need to be willing to crawl around in the ground, in the mud, be drenched in rain, work harder than you ever have in your life, do 30,000 steps in one day, stay up working for 20 hours. Like, I really like to paint a picture of the hardest it can be, because the end of the day, like, you need to be willing to give it your all in those moments, not just when it is easy and pretty. And I think that's a really common myth. It's like all the pictures on Instagram show how pretty it is, but I probably don't share enough content about how gritty it is.
Yeah, everything behind the scenes, right? A lot of people just don't know. They think it just magically happens.
Oh yeah. And the goal is that it appears that way. Like, we want everyone to think that it's just, magical fairy dust, but we know, and when you with other professionals, we could tell stories forever about what was really happening behind the scenes. So,
Yeah.
that's part of the charm too, is knowing what you can pull off.
Absolutely. I agree with that. What do you think is the best compliment that you ever received regarding your work?
Oh goodness, I've been so fortunate to work with really great clients over the years, and it's always really rewarding when a client, takes the time to say that you were like a fairy godmother, or that you really, made the vision come to life, made their dreams come true. Whenever they thank me for taking stress off their shoulders, because that really is my goal, is that in the planning should be fun. It should be joyful. It should flow. It shouldn't be stressful. If you're not looking forward to the day, then we're doing something wrong. And so when at the end of the process, the end of that night, they're able to confirm that, like, that's what I do it for. So it's always really rewarding. And yeah, like, honestly, I really appreciate a tip. It doesn't happen that often. It's not something I expect, but like, it's just that little thing of like, oh, you thought of me. So I wouldn't have thought that would matter. Because again, back to my earlier comment, like, it isn't really something you do for the money. There has to be a lot of love in it. But that little just gift or tip at the end of the night says, like, we really thought of you.
Yeah, I think for me, what I like is when I go back to the office and you check your mail like 2 weeks later and there's a thank you card in there.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh, that is so sweet that they
Yes.
me when they did their thank you cards, not just their guests at the wedding.
Absolutely. One of my planners recently received, it came here to the office, so I got to see it first. Beautiful handwritten letter, actually from the florist that had been there that day, who was a family friend of the couple. And she just wrote the most beautiful handwritten note on legal paper. Like, and it came in the mail, and I opened that, and the pride that I had for my staff, and I called them up right away and read it to them over the phone. They were actually on another wedding setup, and I just could not wait to share, because that just meant so much that that other vendor took the time to sit down and write out those thoughts. So yeah, if you're happy with what somebody has done in your life, like, let them know and share that in writing. It really makes a huge impact.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And you said that you do a little over 200 weddings. Is that correct?
Yeah, in some capacity. So not all of them are full planning and coordination, but we do their flowers or their event rentals. And so we touch a lot of weddings. We do about 75 plannings, coordinations, management packages.
Okay, and with that, how many do you think you would say that people have hired a certified wedding planner?
So we are not certified on my team. So at this point, that's not something that we advertise that we are certified, but I'm certainly interested, having heard your experience in the concept. I have had people in and out of my team that have done some different courses or classes. I don't know specifically which ones. But back when I started 15 years ago, all told, there wasn't much of a platform for education in this space. So it's definitely seems to be growing as potential and opportunity. I think that's a great thing for people to be getting education, and I'm sure that gives you a leg up.
And do you see that when you guys are doing the floral orders, do you see any of the certified planners coming to you for their assistance, their couples?
Most of the interaction on the client, on the side of floral and decor is actually directly through the client. In our area, because we are, Northern Minnesota, we only have about, I would say 4 other planning agencies. And to be totally honest, I'm not sure if they have certifications. They don't, certainly not something I've recognized that they've advertised. But they possibly could. We do work with some of them, but it is actually, when I started here, the concept of a wedding planner in this region was like audacious and not something that people had in their budget or thought that they needed. And so I've really built over the years the recognition of its importance and created a market for even other planners to move into. So, and I feel like I can sincerely say that because that's what I recognized was like, there's nobody doing this here, and there's enough weddings happening that there's definitely a need. And so, yeah, we have a handful of other companies, and there are some out of the Twin Cities as well that come up here, which may or may not have certifications.
Okay. All right. And do you think that you are able to describe like a mishap, something that has happened at maybe one of the weddings or with your flowers where a planner was not involved and not hired?
Ooh, we definitely, well, that's a good question. We see that on our rental side of setting up. So we do have a division that will just go and deliver rentals and set up, like say style lounges or centerpieces. And on that end, we get very frustrated when there's not a planner involved because there's just always this confusion around like what time the vendor should be coming. Like they look to us as if we need to have those answers, but at the end of the day, we're not their planners in that case. And there can be a lot of confusion with the families about when is the tent going up? When is the tent coming down? And so I would say I don't have like one very specific example, but we experience that pain on a daily basis on the rental side. So our ideal scenario is where we are also their planner coordinator, because that makes our life really easy on the rental and floral side. So
do you find that when you run into those circumstances that you have to ask the bride these questions and they're irritated because they're trying to get ready?
100%. It's the worst. And we know that it wouldn't have had to be that way. And so it's always kind of like an awkward moment of who should we go to for these questions, try to flush that out in advance. But sometimes a bride is unwilling to give up that control. And so she invites to herself the need to be entertaining questions on a day when she should really just be having fun. And, that is an easy story to tell when talking to clients about booking a coordination package. And I just sort of say to them, like, picture yourself sitting in hair and makeup and someone coming to you and saying like, tent company wants to know this, or this. Like, do you really want to be dealing with that? That's and what is that worth to you? So yeah, it is a daily conversation around here. That's for sure.
It's a great point too. Can you describe a situation where a certified wedding planner or a wedding planner in your vicinity saved the day? Do you have anything that?
Oh my gosh, like every wedding. I recently had a story, and I don't know that everyone would say that this saved the day, but I definitely think that it made an impact on the bride that I'm really proud of. She really wanted her dog to be at the wedding ceremony. I knew that through the entire wedding planning. I knew how important this dog was. And the person that was supposed to bring the dog basically bailed several hours beforehand. And I just saw how it had affected her mood and just disappointment. And I decided, like, we're going to get the dog, like somebody get the dog. So my assistants went and I arranged it with the groom to get the code to their Airbnb, and the assistants went and picked up the dog and brought him back, and he chewed through his leash in the car. So it was a little bit of a harrowing ride. But when she saw the dog, like everything changed. She lit up, and it was like, to me, being able to do that was like the ultimate delivery of my good service. And it took effort. I had to arrange that and send my team and, deal with everything. And at the end of the day, like that change the course of the wedding for her. So that's not necessarily something that went wrong, but it's just like, we're there and we care about what's important to the client. And, things happen that are out of their control. And if we can impact that in a positive way, like, I love that. It was so cute. So
I think that's fantastic. And we have to step out of the box, right? And we just
Mhm.
have to get creative, and we just have to make things happen. And that's exactly what we did. So kudos to you and your team for that.
Yeah.
Oh, he, chewed through his leash.
Yes, it was quite a day full of it was a really, really fun wedding. And there was a lot of running around and just, fulfilling the client's vision. And I'm just so grateful that we could take our time to make that happen too.
Yeah, that goes a long way for them as a couple, especially being fur baby parents,
I know. I mean,
Different
maybe
breeds.
would not have realized that before I was a fur baby parent, but now I'm like, somebody better get me my dog. Like, I understood her pain. So yeah.
So do you wish that all your couples hired a certified wedding planner, or like in your case up there, at least a wedding planner?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like I mentioned before, especially in our other divisions, if they're not working with one of our planners or a planner at all, it definitely makes more work for us. So we love that. That just brings a level of security and knowing that there's a hired point of contact on the event site, that we're working with a professional. Not every planner out there, the newbies, there are those out there that give our profession a bad rap, maybe just in personality or attitude about the position. So it's not perfect, but it usually means that things are going to go better for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fantastic.
I remember when I first started in this area, I went to a venue and I was talking about, that I was the wedding planner, and they were like, you do not look like the wedding planners we've seen before. And I'm like, okay. Like, they usually march in here in high heels and all dressed up and boss everybody around and have the clipboard and, that whole picture that you kind of have from the movies. Right. And I said from that point on, like, that is not the wedding planner that I want to be. And I don't want my profession to have that reputation. Like, I'm here to work with the team, and that's all the vendors that were hired by the client, and to help make everybody look good in what they do. And if that means we've got to carry plates from the kitchen to expedite service, we're going to jump in and do that, or whatever it is, like, we'll be willing to do that. And that has really helped to build the reputation in our community that a wedding planner isn't just someone who stomps around in heels with a clipboard. So, I mean, if I wore heels to a wedding, I might die. Like, that is a no-go. So
I have flats or tennis shoes. They're
Yep.
cannot wear heels. No, not happening. No way. Not happening. Well, this has been terrific. Thank you so much for joining me today, Mariah. I totally much love and respect to you. If you're listening today and you're interested in earning your certification in the wedding planning, the Bridal Society is the very best decision that you could ever make. Trust me, I promise you on that. Members of this organization feel more like family than we do colleagues. The Bridal Society offers free lifetime membership once you complete your certification, which includes countless benefits. You can visit www.thebridalsociety.com for more information. And if you'd like to receive an exclusive discount code, just message me. Again, my name is Kimberley Tucker, owner of I Do Weddings Plus Events. Join me next time when I'll be talking to another fantastic wedding professional. Have a great day.